So, moving on to the next question. Growing up in a stressful environment, how does that affect child's brain in the long term? Like kids from broken families or families where parents are always arguing or there's some kind of financial stress or environmental stress.
It's a very good question, Ahmed. Stress, first, like just imagine, first of all, what does stress do to you? There is a special pathway in our brain, and we have a structure in our brain, we call it hypothalamus, which is right in the center of the brain. We have that structure. And then
Mm,
we have a structure called pituitary gland, which is also called Adam's apple. And that hypothalamus pituitary, it is linked with another structure in the field of nephrology right above the kidney. And then we have the adrenal glands. So that's how the nephrology and neurology connection. So from where basically the stress hormone, the cortisol, is released. So what does it does to you? If it release too much, it's going to increase your blood glucose, it's going to increase the blood pressure, it's going to affect your immune system, and then it's gonna shrink many regions of the brain.
mm,
Okay, for example, it's gonna shrink a structure called hippocampus, which is the area where the memory is stored. Because
mm,
what is the stress? Chronic stress, one is an acute stress, like you need a little bit of stress, that's fine. But if the child is like growing up in a very stressful environment, like a very long term stress, that will the child personality will be effective, and their needs will not be fulfilled. That's because the stress is very much like it is like fight and or flight response. It basically prepares you to deal with emergencies. So baby feels like there is emergency 24/7. So
mm,
in order to deal with emergency, then the child is the only like the areas which are really essential for life, only they will progress. And all
mm,
the areas which are needed for future, right, so they will not develop very well. So that is why we see that the kids who deal with stress early on, so they end up getting conditions like attention deficit hyperactivity. They cannot focus well in life. They develop learning difficulties. They cannot trust anybody, because when they are under stress, there is a special area in the brain which is called amygdala. It is in the temporal lobe. It is a structure in the brain. It's a special nucleus which deals with the fear. So its function will be enhanced. So the child will be in a phase of hypervigilance all the times. For example, have you seen the kids who come from the war zone? I just heard the story of a child who came from a war zone,